Hey everyone, this is Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology. Today we are going to check in on the development of Mars moving into the conjunction with Uranus and Taurus. I'm calling this a wellness check because I want to make sure everyone's doing okay. Remind you a little bit about the nature of this transit and what is coming as one of the biggest transits of the year. Certainly a reiteration of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that's at play too. So you've heard us, you've heard me, you've heard some of the co-hosts and myself on the monthly breakdown talking about this. So we're going to revisit it today by taking a look at Renn Butler's archetypal universe and some of the entries that he has for this combination. A good thing to refresh on. One of my favorite textbooks, references, desk references that I use. So that is our goal for today. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe, share your comments and reflections. We love hearing from you guys. You can find transcripts of these talks on the website, nightlightastrology.com. Take you over there now and hopefully turn you on to a couple of cool things. Go to the events page, go to speaker series, free speaker series this July 13th, 14th, and 21st. You can register for these and get the live link. If you can't attend live, you get the recording afterward. T. Susan Chang is giving a talk on the decans. She is an author and expert on the intersection between the decans and the tarot. So she's a fantastic teacher. I just really appreciate her work. It's kind of special that we have her here, honestly. Erica Beach, one of our Nightlight staff, giving a talk on Sedna. If you've never learned about Sedna, I think you will enjoy what she has to say. And Jeannie Frisha is giving a talk on the intersection between the charts of artists, their art, and the astrology. That should be really interesting as well. Go to the events page, click on live talks. You will see that there are a number of live talks. I'm doing monthly webinars, and this month, it's Uranus into Gemini, which is one of the major transits we're going to experience next year. And we're going to talk about this archetypal combination in this special talk on July 18th. You register and you'll receive the link to attend. If you can't make it live, you get the recording afterward. And so it goes. All right. Those are the events that I am excited to share with you. And now let's turn our attention to the real-time clock. So Hilda's snoring. All right, here we go. Doodle-doo. So let's just remind ourselves of the fact that happy 4th of July, by the way, if you are celebrating. I felt like today is it's like a good day to visit a transit that has so much of the themes of revolution behind it, since this is a date in history that has that theme in mind archetypally. Here they are just 7 degrees apart now in the sign of Taurus as we are here on the 4th of July in the United States. Anyway, let's take this forward and whoops, here we go. Take it forward and we'll see that the two planets get to that 3-degree range right about next week on Thursday, July 11th. And then they perfect. They come into the exact conjunction on Monday, July 15th. So there's that Monday, July 15th is their exact conjunction. So as they're coming into their conjunction, the moon is also in Scorpio, opposing the two planets. So it is a pretty spicy day. And that's something that we're going to be, looking at again closer to the time. In the next couple of weeks, we will be focusing in on this even more because it is such a monumental transit. It is coming right off the Venus opposition to Pluto. The Venus opposition to Pluto occurs Friday, July 12th. And then just 3 days later, Monday, July 15th, is the Mars-Uranus conjunction. So a pretty flashy couple of days. Honestly, those are major transits. All right, let us now take a look at one of my favorite archetypal cookbooks, the Archetypal Universe, Astrological Patterns in Human Culture, Thought, Emotion, and Dreams by Renn Butler. He's a colleague, someone whose work I really appreciate. And I want to read you a little section that he has on Mars-Uranus. And this, I call it a wellness check because it's like these qualities are very powerful. And when they come through, They place a demand on the soul to change, to evolve, to grow, to strike out, to individuate, to emancipate, to seek out freedom, to the urge to express one's individuality. Those themes become so strong when this combination is coming through. So he says dynamic urges toward freedom and independence. So when Mars and Uranus come together in a conjunction, we have to remember that it is a seeding point in a fixed Earth sign, which means it may not all happen at once. The seeding of this major breakthrough could be something promised in time to develop from this dynamic starting point. But there's a kind of process orientation in fixed Earth that I think we have to pay attention to. The other thing, though, would be Mars-Uranus in a fixed Earth sign can speak to the shifting of things that are very established or entrenched. Things that are more fixed or solid and sort of stubbornly clinging to the past and are in need of emancipation, are in need of greater freedom, will maybe give us a little bit more resistance, or the breakthrough has to there's a stubbornness that the breakthrough has to encounter as it is trying to express itself. So watch for that as well. He says determined cravings for thrills and excitement, sudden breakthroughs and rushes of energy. Now, this to me is why you see Mars-Uranus often associated with extreme sports like big wave surfing or skydiving. Anything, or even like those people who, I don't know if you've ever seen those people that it's like a luge or something. They're like on skateboards and they're on their backs and they're just like flying down these curvy, hilly highways, things that move really fast. If you guys ever saw the Top Gun 2 that came out like a year or two ago, I'm a huge big Top Gun fan, so I loved that sequel. I thought it was really fun. And in the beginning, Tom Cruise's character Maverick is trying to break a certain speed, like a speed of sound. I don't remember what it was. You can imagine something going so fast that it breaks the sound barrier. This is, in a sense, Mars-Uranus. And then he says, electric yang and enthusiasm. Yeah, so anytime there's just, like if you can, you've seen the videos of someone who hits a PR on the bench press. And after they hit that PR on the bench press, they jump like 5 feet in the air and they're beat red and they're screaming like Hulk. It's like not how I roll at the gym. But, you know, that sense of someone getting really, really excited, or the crowd storming the court after a team wins a game in electrifying last-minute heroics. That burst of energy is very 4th of July. Tendencies toward excessive self-will. So that urge to express the willpower, force, and muscle that can become reckless. In its defiance, it can become destructive. Those are things to watch for as well. Impulsive, rash actions, like you're mad and you're holding a cup and you're not the kind of person who would ever break something, but all of a sudden you just smash that glass against the wall. That can happen with Mars-Uranus, metaphorically speaking, where we get impulsively destructive. Flashes of anger, sudden, strong flashes of anger. You kind of lose your cool. You can really lose your shit. So you have to be careful about that. Decisive courage and willpower, electric yang enthusiasm, a flashy and swashbuckling style, dynamic urges toward freedom and independence. I sound my barbaric yawp over the roofs of the world, Walt Whitman, who had Mars trine Uranus. A strong craving for thrills and excitement, adventure and speed, eagerness for life, carpe diem, seize the day. Experiments successful after determined effort, mechanical skills, impulses to fly or rise above. Yeah, so the other thing that's interesting is that Mars-Uranus can be associated with certain elements of technology and mechanics and engineering because Mars is associated with anything that's analytical, and also the pairing of Mars-Uranus is often associated with engines or things that drive activity, and Uranus is also associated with technology. So there can be this interesting connection to technology when Mars and Uranus come together. Of course, one thing that is like textbook Mars Uranus that everyone freaks out about are accidents. You know, sudden accidents or injuries, sudden forceful conflict, sudden eruptions of anger. Those are the things that everyone freaks out about. Feelings of erotic emancipation and zeal, hot-blooded, passionate excitement, the mad, naked summer night, the rush, the orgasm, transcendence through sexuality. That kind of sudden urge or impulse to fight or hunt is also tied with Mars to the impulse or desire to connect sexually through passion, through willful, passionate, vigorous intimacy. So even though Mars Uranus seems kind of abrupt and almost like a disjointed, chaotic, violent energy that people imagine it like that, it's also a very, very passionate energy that will seek sexual freedom, and passionate expressions of intimacy are not uncommon with this connection. Sudden eruptions of energy, releases of anger, active rebellion against the inner tyrant superego. Yeah, that desire to break free from some inner voice that says, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. You can't do that. You ought not to do that. The hell I, the hell I won't. You don't own me. You don't control me. I do what I want." Right? In holotropic sessions, it's like holotropic breath work, sequences of yelling, ripping, cutting, tearing. So one of the things that's also associated with Mars Uranus is that like sudden cut, sever, tear, that can, like if you're trying to cut through something, it's great that Mars Uranus will help you cut through it. If you don't want to cut through something because you feel it would be destructive, then Mars Uranus is not necessarily the greatest combination. Angry birth, he says. Isn't that interesting? An angry birth. The shadow qualities are tendencies toward excessive self-will, contention, irritability, impatience. The impatience part, you can be very impulsive and sort of reckless, especially getting angry or frustrated easily. That's something to watch for. Reckless audacity and courage, high-flying contempt for the mediocre, like just frustrated with anything that doesn't live up to a very high standard, impulsive rash actions, and also the ideals of martial glamour, the knight in shining armor, and the urge to shed blood for something you believe in, Mars-Uranus. Mars-Uranus is the battle cry that sends the soldier running right into the teeth of battle. Mars-Uranus is also the urge to liberate stuck or pent-up energy and to absolutely defy or resist the status quo. Very strong energy, right? And it's coming just a couple degrees off from where Jupiter and Venus met in the sign of Taurus, which means that this transit is a reiteration of that greater revolutionary impulse that we experienced in late April. I've covered this multiple times from multiple different angles. The reason that I'm doing so is because it is one of the most powerful, dynamic, electric, and sort of erratic archetypal expressions of the calendar year. And so it's good to prep. So I said, we're going to do a wellness check. How are you guys doing? Are you doing okay? Can you feel it? Can you feel the pressure building? Maybe not yet, but I would watch for it coming through by the end of next week. And at that point in time, you're going to start feeling this urge or pressure to break free or to express in these ways. If you also feel everything getting hectic and more chaotic around you, making you feel like you're starting to go mad, give yourself a wellness check, take a break, step back, give yourself space, rest, gain some reflective distance. Be careful with this energy, because as powerful and productive as it can be for the sake of originality, breaking out of old stuck patterns, it can also be reactionary, irritable, and sort of erratic and destructive if you are not being careful as the pressure is mounting. Hence our wellness check today. So that's it. That's what I've got. I hope that this was interesting. It's a great book if you want to check it out. I think it's a good one to refresh on all of the archetypes. I often draw on one or two ideas from that text and then elaborate upon them in my 5 things to watch for. It's a great book. So that's it for now. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about the new moon in Cancer. So that's it for today. We'll see you again soon. Bye.